phone call, middle of summer, from Cindy, unknown to me at the time who she was. She said she was interested in doing the Iditarod, and I prior to that, I'd had several people call me that wanted to do the Iditarod, and it's not something you just jump into, you know. So I asked her a little bit about her background, and she said, "Oh well, you know, I done a couple cool things, and been to the, you know, she's a deep sea scuba diver, and she's been to the top of Mount Everest." And I said, "So?" And she said, "Well, I spent 10 days in a tent with 8 or 9 other guys peeing in a cup." I'm like, "Okay. Now we can go somewhere." But, you know, this was a series of calls and different trips to Alaska she made to confirm this is what she wanted to do and who with. And most of that was in the summer. And if I remember correctly, it was mid-December, I believe, first time she showed up in Fairbanks at about 9 or 10 at night, pitch black, it was about 40 below. And it was about an hour ride from the airport to my house. And, you know, she's all excited. What are we going to do? You know, what's our first step? I said, "Well, when we get home, we're going for a run." And she kind of stopped. "Tonight?" I said, "Well, yeah, you ain't gonna stop my training." Just, you know, she had a really weird schedule with, you know, two weeks there and then 2 weeks or 3 weeks gone, and so it was going to be a difficult, you know, challenge just to be able to train her adequately to get her to the preseason races to qualify. I don't believe there was any doubt when we signed on for this that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of how it was going to happen. And I'll never forget, though, we talk about it quite often. We took her home that night, hooked her up behind, I believe it was a 16 or 18 dog team on a whip sled. She had no idea what a whip sled was, but she was immediately taught. And we went on a fairly long run, and it was cold. And you know, this table's got more flexibility than she had in her that night. She was as stiff as a board, scared to death. And we went through a pretty technical trail, and all the rough stuff, she would hang on and just get through it like a breeze. And then we get to a nice flat spot, she'd fall over for no reason. And it was finally probably from just letting loose, you know, and relaxing a little bit. She was so stiff. But it wasn't very long that we had to work with her in, and I think maybe 6 runs or something on a sled, if I remember correctly. It wasn't very many. And well, off to the Sheep Mountain 150 race. And that year I thought it'd probably be best if I didn't race and I'd go be a handler for her. And we were so big into teaching her about taking care of the dogs and what to look for as far as limpers and things of that nature that we didn't even discuss how to read a trail marker. You know, that was just something that didn't even cross my mind. It was all about the dogs, not how to get down the trail. So, unfortunately, you know, that particular race she didn't make it to because of my inability to teach her all the things that needed to be taught. And, you know, and so it was kind of a rough start. But with only oh man, minimal hookups. It was getting obvious that, you know, all I need to do is show her a little bit, tell her a little bit, and then let her experience it for herself. Hooking up the dogs, learn how to untangle them. You know, the best experience is hands-on, in my opinion. And she basically got thrown to the wolves. It was you know, it was one of those years that I was pretty focused in training and racing myself, so hard to take a lot of extra time. And with her schedule again, it was challenging to say the least. And you know, we had people at home to help train and run those dogs when she was away. But while she was away doing her normal, you know, daily job, we're trying to communicate and plan for what she's going to do this next round, you know. And but it was fun. We slowly started giving her more and more dogs, and pretty soon she was by herself running, 14 dog teams and 40 below, and coming back with a smile. And I knew she was nuts right then. But we got to spend 2 years with Cindy and her husband, and in different races and different situations, sitting in the truck for hours at a time. I got to know her quite well. And the one thing that I always admired with Cindy is that she wasn't going to let somebody tell her she couldn't do something. And I know a little bit about that. So it was a no-brainer, like I said, when she called me and asked me if this is something that she could do. I said, absolutely. So it was real special the other night, or last night, to get out of the banquet in time to come down and see her before she crashed underneath the arch. It was quite nice to see you finally accomplish your goal. And yeah, nice looking dog team, by the way. So I'm glad I could be a part of that somehow. Congratulations, Cindy.
They went out to Salmon Lake and back, and all these old-time, Iditarodders who look at us like lost puppy dogs, they got me cornered in the cabin there. We're talking, and they said one word defines the Iditarod, and we saw it this year, and it's called perseverance. And for me, that's your new nickname because you define it. So we're all so proud of you.